everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Another Lone Wolf GT prep. This is a 2,300 point battle. Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Varangur, versus Last Stand of the Dwarves. This is like my second or third game ever. No, second game ever with the Varangur. I'm using my unfinished models, unpainted, put together with sticky tack, or held onto the base anyway with sticky tack, so bear with me, but man am I enjoying this army. My buddy that I played against with the Ogres, that was a great game. The fact it runs into a draw, I walked into this one thinking that I had lost that last one, so I'm determined, but at the same time, you know, you get excited, I'm playing with my models, my new stuff, it's just crazy. This is a brutal fight. You know, it's a real stand-up, beat-down fight, and it's a great game. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how it goes. Here's my list, and there hasn't been any change because I wanted to give it a fair shake. I still have my king on a chimera, and he's still got brutal, and I gave him the fog. I've got a chieftain on a mount, he's also got brutal, and Kev's flying hammer. And then I got two butt-naked skulls that just run around and give me inspiring. I also still have the two Magus Conclaves with Famulus, or however you say that. And I really like the concept of these guys, but in my last video, you guys in the comments section were saying that I need to take 330 points for some artillery in an army that's supposed to be close combat based. Unless they really do something impressive this game, I'm thinking I'm going to swap them out. We'll see. The bulk of my army is made up of a warband horde still with two-handed weapons, and they have the Crystal of Retribution because it's just so badass. I got the Sons of Corrigan Regiment with two-handed weapons and Fury. I got a second Sons of Corrigan Regiment with two-handed weapons and Fury. Mounted Sons of Corrigan Regiment with Fury. And I like the Sons of Corrigan, what can I tell you? They put out so many attacks. And yeah, I still haven't figured out in this game that they have Crushing Strength 3 with two-handed weapons, the infantry ones. Yeah, I got a lot to learn. The rest of my list consists of a couple of Tundra Wolf troops, and they're just great chaff. Not only that, but I like the models. They're mostly finished, which is always kind of nice, but yeah, they're invaluable. Really are. I still have the Fallen in a horde formation, and those I brought with. I really like the models. I like the idea of the unit, but that Crushing Strength 1, I know. It's just I'm not sure if they're gonna fit in my particular army. We'll see. Anyway, that's gonna do it for my list. But I don't have my opponent's list. I completely forgot to get a picture of it, and so I have no idea what he took. I'm sorry. I haven't played this game enough to be able to eyeball it, so you're going to see a lot of Dwarves beating on a lot of Varangur and vice versa. I'll tell you what my units are. I apologize. I guess I was just overexcited. We did play a scenario with this one, and we rolled a d12, and we rolled a 1, so it was pillage. Before rolling off, choose sides, place d3+4 objective markers on the board, players take it in turns, place the objectives. Basically, control the objectives, get victory points, he who has the most at the end wins. It's not hard. But yeah, we do play scenarios, and that's what we got for this one. Here's deployment, and I'm still feeling out this army. I know how I want it to work, but I don't know exactly how to make it work, and with the tools I have in this particular army, I wasn't sure if it was even feasible. But left to right, I got my Fallen on the flank there, kinda. I mean, there's a huge bunch of stuff over there, but I'm thinking with the water feature and everything over there, I'm going to be able to slow down these already slow Dwarves, so we'll see. I've been surprised before by movement. On the hill, I have a Scald, but he's not going to stay there very long, and of course the two Magnus Conclaves. I've got a unit of infantry, the Sons of Corrigan, right there, and they're just going to shoot up the middle and go after the first unit they can find. I don't have any chaff over there because honestly I plan on shooting the horde brick of warband, the warband horde up there. They're going to try to get up there and pull as many units as they can. Yeah, they're going to get decimated, but hopefully when they explode, they do enough damage so that one charge from my units is enough to finish it off and break his bigger units of dwarves. Because from what I understand, they're kind of stubborn. There's a Scald behind them just to give them a little bit of staying power. I've got a Warband with the Mounted Sons of... I'm sorry. I've got a Tundra Wolf unit with the Mounted Sons of Corrigan behind them. And the idea there is to kind of block off anything else and then charge a target opportunity with the Suns. They put out a lot of attacks, so I'm really thinking I got something there. My king on a chimera is right there in the middle, kind of behind the terrain. It's not going to really help him a whole lot. But the idea is he goes into my opponent's war machines and starts dealing with them. With the fog, it's going to be harder for him to hit me. And then on the far right, my right flank anyway, I've got my other unit of Tundra Hounds with the Sons of Korrigan behind them, and my Chieftain on a mount. He's going to try to get into the war machines on the hill because I need to take care of them before they take care of me. That's really it. It's not the soundest plan in the world, but it is what it is, and I just hope I can kill enough dwarves that at the end I can maneuver around, capture a whole bunch of objectives, and win the game. So here we are in top of one after movement, and the dwarves come forward kind of aggressively, with the exception of that one horde brick in the back, and it's like some sort of shooty guys. So I don't think he can move and shoot with them in particular. So I should probably charge in them as soon as I can, if nothing else, just to stop them from being able to shoot. But he got to go first, so he's going to get an extra round of shooting no matter what I do, which always sucks. Oh well, is what it is. But all the rest of his stuff comes forward more or less as fast as it can, and then he's going to start shooting at me, because, well, he's dwarves. So it kind of surprised me, but he sends his first war machine into my Tundra Wolves and puts 5 wounds on him. He wants my chaff gone, and I guess I could totally understand that, because he doesn't really seem to have a lot of chaff, at least not invaluable chaff. He does have a couple of small regiments of regular warriors, I guess, but still, it was an interesting choice in my opinion. Then one of his characters surges those guys. There's some sort of constructs. I can't remember what they're called, but he surges them up 4 inches, which, okay, he's got surges, and my experience against the undead let me know that that unit has to go now. It's terrifying. Targeting my wolves was a good choice, though, because they panic. They rout, and they are gone, which is really bad, because, I mean, yeah, I've got the warband still for chaff purposes, bait purposes, but it just wasn't what I was expecting to have happen. So I don't know if this is a win or a lose for me. Don't have any combat yet, so we go over to my turn. Here's bottom 1 after movement, and I come forward pretty aggressive with the things I'm not afraid to have charged. My Sons of Korrigan go right up. My dogs charge his constructs on the right flank there, just because why not? I want him to go after the dogs. I move my Sons of Korrigan up to countercharge. If he kills off my Tundra Wolves, go ahead, that's fine. They might be able to do a wound or 2, and that'll be huge, wonderful. My chieftain on a mount, he comes over on the left side of the Suns, and I move him around so that he can get into range of his war machines across the way there, because that chariot on the right flank, that is the steel behemoth or whatever, and those things are terrifying. So I moved my chieftain away from that, because there's nothing he's going to be able to do that thing with 5 attacks, but it's 30 plus attacks, or whatever the hell it gets, would just tear my chieftain to pieces. So he's getting the hell away from that. Yes, my Sons of Korrigan are probably going to get melted by it, but if they can take out that unit of shamblers first, that'd be great. My king on a chimera moves up, and I faced him so that he can still see the shooters, he can still see the war machines, but I wanted to put some pressure on his infantry. I wanted to try to scare him back, try to push him back. I have no intention of going over into the center there. I intend to go over to the right with it, but misdirection. I'm trying to be clever here. You'll see how that works. The warband, of course, fires forward. I want him to go after him. I have my mounted and infantry sons in the center ready to countercharge. I know my opponent sees it. I don't care. I want him to come in, and if he doesn't, my warband's going to go into him. So it works out either way. My fallen move up to do the exact same thing. The scalds follow suit, and the conclave stay where they're at because it'd be stupid to move them. That's it for movement. So we go into the pansy phase, and the first thing I do is my dragon breathes hot death on that little regiment of dwarves, regular dwarven warriors. 10 shots with elite, I do 1 wound. Now, yes, I understand that could be crappy dice rolling, but shooting is really not my forte, is what I've decided. So I'm going to try to deal with this, or I'm going to try to start using my king and a chimera in a much different way. Nothing else happens. Both my conclaves fail, which, yeah, I think you can tell how I feel about that. We go into this combat, and the Warhounds do about as well as you expect. They do 1 wound. I'm not rolling great. My dice are apparently asleep still, but hopefully they warm up in time to help me win this game, because if not, it's gonna be a short battle report. Surprisingly enough, the 1 wound was not enough to tip the scales in my favor, and I bounce off these guys. I'd be mad, but they're about to catch some righteous hell from these things, so I think the universe is going to right itself, and, you know, they kind of got it coming. With my turn complete, here's top of 2 after movement, and here come the Dwarves. On the left flank there, some of his dwarves go for a swim in the lake, and good for them. I hope they enjoy it. His little regiment guys move up as bait. I'm not even concerned about them right now. The big old horde brick and a little regiment brick of dwarves slam into my warband, and that's great. I hope they kill them and enjoy being blown up, because my Sons of Korrigan, both mounted and infantry, are ready to countercharge and hopefully break them. That would really open up the center of this board for me big time and give me a lot of options. The rest of his dwarves just kind of position themselves. Obviously, the ones that shoot aren't going to do anything, except for on the right flank. His constructs, they countercharge into tundra rolls, which is obvious and very smart. And his steel behemoth moves up to put some threat on the Sons of Korrigan. I know I'm in a lot of trouble there, but you know what? They're going to have to earn their paycheck this game, and let's see what happens. But that's it for this movement. Alrighty, so the Pansy Face kicks off, and I believe his big old horde brick of guys fires into my mounted sons and does 4 wounds to him, which is 4 more than I was hoping to have on him. Then one of the war machines, even though I have stealthy, he's still able to wound me twice, which was actually very impressive. Either the steel behemoth or the other war machine, something just opens up on the Sons of Korrigan infantry unit on my right flank there and puts 5 wounds on him. Not that it's super hard with a defense of 4, but oh, I was not expecting that. Okay, yeah, and then this one's the steel behemoth, and it does another 5 wounds to my sons. I might lose my right flank here. That's 10 wounds in shooting. The dude has broken the box. And then one of his characters with a pistol or a spell or something like that, even with stealthy, doesn't matter. He's able to slip another wound through on my king on a Chimera. What the actual F? So he rolls nerve, and my nightmare happens. Even with the reroll, he's able to rout my sons on the right flank. That is terrible. So yeah, I've just lost my entire right flank. I did not see this coming. And then we dive into combat. Needless to say, he starts off with this one and beats the piss out of my warband. 19 wounds done between the 2 units. That's enough. It's okay though, because I get sweet revenge. My unit routes, obviously, but I get 6 wounds off on his horde, and I get 7 wounds off on the little regiment. It didn't roll as high as I had hoped, but 6 and 7 is not too shabby, and if I can put 10 wounds on him, well, I just watched the Suns route. Maybe I can watch some Dwarves route. They reposition like this, and yeah, we move on to the next combat. In this combat, he's able to put 7 wounds on my Tundra Wolves, which hopefully knocks a little sense into the bastards next time. The Wolves rout, and my entire right flank collapses. Yeah, there's a chieftain over there, but he's not going to be able to do anything against the units that are left. I'm in a little bit of trouble here. So I'm on the back foot here, but here's bottom of 2 after movement. And real quick, just because I completely forgot, his constructs do reform to face towards the center of the table. I didn't get a picture of it, and I apologize. So I send in, right off the bat, I send my king and a Chimera into his war machines because they're doing so much damage, I want to get rid of them. I need to get rid of them before it's too late. My chieftain, too far away to charge anything because I don't know exactly how that happened. I thought I was in range, but I apparently wasn't. So anyway, I send the chieftain down the middle to go after the cannon. Not that it's hit yet, but I don't want to give it the opportunity. My fallen and my infantry sons go into the horde brick that took 6 wounds last turn. My mounted sons go into the regiment that took 7, and my scald runs up to block that unit, that little regiment unit. That's a berserker unit or whatever. They got like 300 attacks. They can't be what's it called, wavered or anything like that. It's a really dangerous unit, but I'm throwing the scald in there with the hopes that they're not going to be able to overrun enough to charge my fallen in the flank, because I just want to be able to have enough attacks into that horde brick to guarantee it breaks this turn. I need to smash his center if I have any hope of winning this game. If I don't, it's over. It's all over. The Scalds move up. My other Scald moves up just to kind of give inspiring to the 3 units I have left in the middle. And the Conclaves, I don't even know what the hell they're doing. They're sitting up there on the damn hill watching. And I just hope they do something this turn. But that's it for my movement. We go into the pansy phase, and with both Conclave's shots combined, they do 2 wounds to the Berserker unit that my Scald is trying to panic, and it's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating to have 220 points of garbage on the table. Really unimpressed with the Conclaves. We jump into combat because, let's face it, I don't have much of a shooting phase, and yeah, the Mounted Sons came to work, and they do 12 wounds to this little regiment bastards. I like these guys a lot. They break those guys like the porcelain dolls they are, and then I just change the facing a little bit to look at the next regiment that they're going to blow through next turn. If they charge me, so be it. I'm pretty sure I can take that charge. This combat over here does not go well at all. I flub spectacularly. And between the 18 attacks from the Fallen and the 20 from the Sons, I get 10 wounds through. That's it. Now, keep in mind, with the Sons, I'm still doing Crushing Strength 2 because I'm dumb. And the Fallen only have Crushing Strength 1, and the guys I just ran into have, like, Defense 6. But 10 wounds is all I'm able to put through with 2 units. That's so bad. But it kind of works out. I don't rout them, but I am able to waver the unit. It's not going to help because they're, headstrong. But, you know what, it's something, and I gotta grab at straws right now because I'm really disappointed on the outcome of this combat. Needless to say, though, over here, my king on a Chimera is able to just eat that Dwarven War Machine to pieces. He overruns just to get out of the charge arc of the constructs that are behind him and to the right. I don't want to get flank charged by those things. And moves up, and he's an inch away from that little dwarf character right there. I wish his War Machines were individuals. That would have been a great follow-up charge. That's all the damage I could do, so here's top 3 after movement, and he's going to try to do some damage himself. The Horde Brick, it works, his headstrong roll is fine, and he charges into the Infantry Sons of Korgan. His Berserker Dwarves or whatever charge a Scald, because, well, I gave him the charge. He would be stupid not to take it. And that's really it. His stuff kind of positions a little bit to shoot at my dragon and shoot at my mounted sons. He doesn't charge him because he wants to try to shoot him off the table. And the way he's been rolling and how much shooting he has, it's not a bad idea. Other than that, though, he mostly stays still because he's kicking the crap out of me so far. We jump into the pansy phase, and his War Machine, the one that's left, opens up on my mounted sons, puts 3 wounds to start. Then his Horde Brick opens up and puts 6 more wounds on him for 9 more for a total of 13, and that's getting to the danger area. His little dwarfy character makes the surges his constructs, and I think they only go forward like 2 inches. It's not as impressive as the undead surges. We go into the nerve check portion, and he wavers my mounted sons, which really sucks because unless I'm confused, Fury just allows a counter charge when you're wavered. It's not like headstrong. So, yeah, they're going to stand there for a turn. I guess I should count my blessings that they didn't rout, but the fact that they got wavered, I don't know if I should be glad about that or not, because really it's just points he's going to secure next turn. Oh, I did not need that. With the pansiness over, we jump into combat, and he starts off with this one with the Dwarven Berserkers into my Scald, and my Scald is a friggin' ninja. all of his attacks, like something like 30 plus attacks at my Scald, he wounds 3 times. He flubbed spectacularly. It was really impressive, actually. But my Scald only took 3 wounds. He might stick around. And he does. He actually stays. They bounce off the Scald, which is just hilarious. So much for Berserkers. Anyway, we go into this combat over here, and his Horde Brick does 3, 6, 7, 8 wounds to me. And it would have been significantly less had I not been stupid and taken 2-handed weapons on these guys, because they really don't have any crushing strength. So I blame myself for this one. I blame myself for about half of those wounds. But yeah, they're sitting at 8 now, and that's a lot. Luckily for me, thank all the Dark Gods, they bounce off me. I live. And so, good. Now I'm going to be able to take care of this unit next turn. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll see. So that brings us over here to bottom of 3 after movement. And I try my Sons of Korgan infantry version, and my Fallen go back into the Horde Brick of Dwarves. And hopefully I do at least 10 wounds this time again and kick them off the table, because I really need to break this. My Scald countercharges the Berserkers on the left there, because why not? It'd be hilarious. My Chieftain, my Mounted Chieftain, charges the cannon, because although it hasn't hit yet this game, I don't want to give it the opportunity. My Mounted Sons of Korgan turn to look at the constructs. They're wavered. All they can do is change facing, halt, or I think back up. So I figure I could take a charge from his warriors in the flank a lot better than I could take it from his constructs. So I turned to face him. There was no way for me to turn so that they were both in my front, because the Sons of Korgan on infantry countercharged the Horde Brick of Dwarves. So I'm really just SOL. And my useless conclaves sit there and laugh for taking 220 points away from me. That could have been used on anything else. That's it for movement. In my pansy phase, since all I did was change direction with my dragon, I breathe hot death into his little war machine there, and I only do 2 wounds. I'm thinking that shooting is just not my forte. Unless, of course, I take ogre shooters, in which case then it's everybody's forte. His war machine is actually perfectly fine, mainly because I only did 2 wounds, but also because I decided to roll snake eyes for the nerve check. So, yeah, I don't know what the dice are doing here, but I probably deserve this. My wretched conclaves do nothing again. 3 turns, 2 wounds. Fuck those things. So we go into combat, and my chieftain charges into this, or gets into this war machine, and is able to do 10 wounds to it. He's a badass, I tell ya. 10 wounds to this son of a bitch. I was so pleased with him. The cannon detonates, and my chieftain stands triumphant. I do turn him to face more towards the center so we can get back into this fight, but I don't know if I got a picture of that. This combat over here, my opponent just looks at me and goes, hey, listen, you're going to do a ton of wounds. Go ahead and just roll your nerve check for them. And I roll them, they break, and both units come forward because I don't want to be countercharged. They both get past it, so I'm hoping. Here's hoping. In this combat, my Scald, with his 1 attack, he hits, he wounds, and yeah, they're up to 3, which was really funny. Obviously, 3 wounds is enough to rout these guys. Even if I roll boxcars, I bounce off. But what I'm thrilled about with this is that this 60-point butt-naked character that's not meant for combat is holding off a Dwarven combat unit. Ah, I love that little Scald. That's it for my turn, so here's top of 4 after movement, and needless to say, his warriors charge into the flank of my Sons of Korgan infantry unit. I didn't think he could see him, but we got an arc, we checked it out, and sure enough, he could see him, and it was a flank. That sucks. I can't even begin to tell you how much that sucks. So there goes that unit. His Berserkers charge back into the Skull, trying to finish him off this time, and I totally get that. His big old Horde Brick that went for a swim finally got through the water and is going after the Conclaves, and at this point, I can't wish him more luck. I want those things dead because they're garbage. His constructs start coming towards the Mounted Sons, which will probably not be there if they make it. And his Steel Behemoth turns around to scream hot death all over my characters. It's not looking good for the home team here, but damn it, I'm going to try to take as many dwarves down with me. That's it for movement. We go into the pansy phase, and he opens up on my Mounted Sons again, this time only doing a single wound. So thank God for small favors. And then I believe the Horde Brick shoots at him, doing another 2 wounds, which really isn't a whole lot considering the amount of shots it just flung at him. But it's 3 more wounds on a unit that's already on its way out. Then his Steel Behemoth breathes hot death all over my dragon character, doing 3 more wounds. So I'm bringing him to a total of 6, but with an 18-20, not too concerned about that. In the nerve portion of the pansy phase, my Sons of Korrigan finally rout. It just took too many shots. Really, really sucked that that happened, but well played by my opponent. What can you do? We jump into the combat phase, and his Dwarven unit does 3, 6, 7 more wounds to my Sons of Korrigan. That's enough. That's enough to take him out. Oh, so disappointed that he could see him. Broke my heart and my back. The unit routes, and I gotta give credit where it's due. The man has outplayed me here, and this is exactly what should have happened. Bravo. Combat over here, my opponent flubs again. This Skald is the most difficult Skald to get a hold of ever. I mean, he is a warrior monk coming out of the big, earthen hand or stone hand, but only 3 more wounds, total of 6. He could survive this, and he does. For 2 turns in a row now, my 60-point Skald is holding back a Berserk Dwarf unit. I'm speechless. I got nothing. This is phenomenal. This is amazing. That triumphant victory by the Skald brings us over here to bottom of 4 after movement. And my King on a Chimera charges into the flank of the shooty Horde Brick over there. It's too little too late, I know, but I figured I might as well. And I believe my Chieftain charges the last War Machine. In the middle there, my Fallen could not see his unit, so it just kind of moved up to face him, because it's not like they were going anywhere or doing anything anyway. And my Skald countercharges the Dwarven Berserkers, because why not? Everything else I have is dead, so that's it for movement. In the pansy phase, both of my conclaves fire at the big old Horde Brick that's coming down to pipe at him right there. I do 1 wound. Between the 2 of them. I'm sorry, that's not true. I fired at the character right up there with the little white dice next to him. And granted, he's got individual, but instead of 4s, now I need 5s to hit him. And, well, the one on the left moved back a little bit, so he needed 6s, but the one on the right needed 5s. I do 1 wound. I'm just... you know what? I'm taking the hint. I don't need to play with conclaves. They're just not doing what I need them to do. For 110 points, I expect a lot more. We dive back into combat, and this Maniac Skald is able to do another wound to these Berserkers. I don't even know where it's coming from. He's amazing. He does another wound, bringing them to a total of 4. He's only got 1 attack, and he needs a 5 to hit. He's insane. My King is up next, and he does 12 wounds to this little Horde Brick of shooters. I don't know if 12 is going to be enough to break him. I mean, I guess technically it's a 13 because my character is brutal, but still, that's a really good amount of wounds considering I only have 20 attacks with him. Well, only 20 attacks. You know what I mean. I'm pleased. I'm very, very pleased. I go to roll to see if they rout, and can you flip and believe it? I roll Snake Eyes again. Again! This unit is fine. Not only is it fine, but now it can actually countercharge me. Oh, the dice gods are a fickle mistress, and right now, I must have told her she looked fat in her anger or something. I don't know. This is bad. My Chieftain starts wailing away at the 1 remaining War Machine left and does 8 wounds, bringing it up to a total of 10. And then he murders its face. I change it routes, and I change the facing of him to look at the Steel Behemoth that's coming. I know he's an individual, I know it could hit him, kill him, and slam into the flank of my character, or my king, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because that makes it so that he needs to roll at least probably a 2 on the dice to hit him, but a chance is better than no chance, so I'm going to try it. So this brings us over to top of 5 after movement, and he's coming for me. Yeah, his construct's got a hold of my Scald, which, hey, if my other Scald's any indication, he should be able to hold him for a little while. And then his little, regiment of infantry guys, they slam into my Fallen. He countercharges the Scald on the left flank. His big old horde comes after my Conclave guys. And he countercharges with his shooty horde into my dragon, or into my king on a chimera, I apologize. And his steel behemoth goes into my chieftain. All bad things. This might spell the end for the Varangur, but we're gonna put up a hell of a fight. He's got no shooting left, so we go straight into combat, and it's not that bad. We start off with his horde into my dragon, and they're not really made for combat, I guess. He's only able to slip 2 wounds through on me. Now, I'm already carrying 6, so it's 8. There's a chance, but he's not able to so much as waver me. They back off an inch, and, oh yeah, I'm going after him next turn. We go into the next combat, which is the Steel Behemoth into my Chieftain, and he does significantly better. This thing is much more oriented for combat. 8 wounds. 8 wounds onto my Chieftain. He's still pretty tough, and I think that's the first time he's taken any damage, so he might be okay here. He's definitely okay here because my opponent rolls snakes for his nerve check, which is great because if he had overran into my dragon, it'd have been all over for the dragon. There's no way he could take it too. But yeah, that buys me a little time, and I'm probably going to be able to take out that unit now, which is great. The Horde unit, not the Steel Behemoth. That thing's going to eat me alive. But this is good news either way. Not so great news is what his constructs do to my poor Scald. 11 wounds. Yeah, they just straight murdered my Scald. I mean, this was brutal. Yeah, I know it wasn't even a question. Even with the reroll, this poor Scald is just turned into liquid. It's so bad. And routes all day, and I'm not even mad. I totally understand. I wanted to route, and I'm not even in the game. This combat over here was not so bad. I only took 3 wounds from these little dwarven warrior guys, which the Fallen should be able to soak up relatively easily. And I'm right, they pass their nerve check no problem, he backs off an inch, and I don't know what they're going to do next turn, because unless they can get past both units, they're going to get flank charged by something next turn, and that's all bad. I am aware that they have Iron Resolve now. I didn't realize it at the time, so yeah, you're not going to see a wound get removed. I'm new. This combat, yeah, I think they're a little tired of fighting with the Scald. 4 more wounds are on him, bringing him to a total of 10. This should probably finish him off, but what a champ. Yeah, the big guy gets routed, and it's totally fine. He held that unit for 3 turns. A butt-naked 60-point Scald held off a unit of Berserkers for 3 rounds of combat. This is a legendary Scald. I'm so proud. So that brings us to bottom of 5 after movement, and here's a Drowned Man grabbing at straws. So, yeah, I move on the left flank there on the hill, I move 1 Conclave up to block the Horde brick that's coming, because mine are individuals. He could kill one and then overrun into the second one, and I'm super screwed. So I kind of moved 1 on the left up and moved 1 on the right back so that it would be much more difficult for him to roll and hit them. It's not impossible, but, well, I did my best. In the center, my Fallen go after, countercharge the Dwarven Warriors that attack them. I figure I have a better chance to break them, and if I break them, I can maybe get past the constructs and not take that flank charge, but if I do, I mean, it's over anyway. I'm just trying to make the body count look good. On the King of the Chimera, he countercharges the Horde brick, trying to go after them, and then my Chieftain, my Mounted Chieftain, charges the little Dwarven character that's all by himself, because I figure I have a better chance of taking him out than I have of the Steel Behemoth, and with a little luck, my King can get the hell away from the Steel Behemoth and see what happens there. But yeah, that's it for my movement. We dive straight into combat because he still doesn't have anything in the pansy phase, and he starts off with his big old Horde brick into my tiny little Conclave, and he's only able to do 2 wounds, so I guess all that swimming really tired him out. The Chieftain is able to do 4 wounds to the little Dwarven character, which is excellent considering he's only got 5 attacks. And yeah, I am in his rear, but individuals, you don't double or triple your attacks, which is a shame because this would have been a lot better had I been able to. I am not able to break the damn character, though. Even 4 wounds wasn't enough. They're pretty tough, though, just like my characters. And I back off an inch. What else can I do? In the combat with my king versus the Horde, I do 8 wounds to the Horde, which is pretty good considering I only have 10 attacks. I'm feeling somewhat confident here. I'm hoping I'm able to break them. And I am. Thank God. So I look at the distance between the Steel Behemoth and my dragon, and I think, alright, even if I roll a 6, it's not going to be enough to get away from this damn thing. So all I can do is turn and face the Steel Behemoth, and hope he doesn't break me next turn, because there's no getting away from it. Very well positioned by my opponent. My ladies here, my Fallen, they slam into these guys and are able to do 8 wounds to them, bringing up to a total of 10, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. It helps that they don't have a great armor class, but the Crushing Strength one is bothering me. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Something about me and the Fallen just aren't meshing. I break his regiment, though, and I turn to face the constructs, because you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that they're coming. I don't know if they're going to be able to take that. Getting down towards the end, here's top of 6 after movement, and he crashes into me just as hard. Now, I know this picture is misleading. He seems to have a lot of dwarves left on the table. Pretty much everything on the top and the left side there is dead. He's got his Steel Behemoth, a couple of characters in the right flank there on the top part of the picture. He's got his constructs in the middle, and he's got his Horde and his Berserkers at the bottom. He's got more than me. He's still doing pretty well, but when I was doing the slideshow, I realized that this picture is very misleading. It looks like there's a lot more dwarves on the table, and there is not. Anyway, that was my pride kicking in there. His Horde brick charges into the left conclave, his Berserker brick charges into the right, and yes, I did shoot with them last turn, and none of them are doing a damn thing. I don't like conclaves. I don't. They're coming out of the list. In the middle, his constructs charge into the Fallen, which is smart. It'd be stupid not to. And his Steel Behemoth charges into my king on a Chimera, and his character that my chieftain charge countercharges the chieftain. So it's going to be a bloody turn. Okay, once again, nothing in a pansy phase. We go right into combat, and his Steel Behemoth beats the crap out of my poor king. 9 wounds. Oh no! I think that brings him to like 18 to 20 by itself. Oh no! Yeah, my dragon's gone. Anyway, we go over here, as you can see in this picture. I'm sorry I didn't get the other picture, probably because I was crying when my dragon died. But you can see in this one on the top, his Steel Behemoth turns to face my chieftain because it's all bad. His little guy does a few wounds to my guy, but he's not able to break him. The chieftain is made of sterner stuff, and he backs off an inch. So I'm going to gamble and try to kill that guy next turn. And if there's a turn 7, my chieftain's going to get Steel Behemoth. So, yeah, his constructs... Oh, I'm sorry, and I missed it. His little character guy both slam into my Fallen, and they had 3 wounds, and now they have 3, 6, 9, 10 more wounds for a total of 13, and there's no inspiring around them. They're screwed. My Fallen fall. Yeah, there's really no other way to put it. They die a horrible death, and they run off the table. They're routed, and yeah, well played by my opponent. What can you do? In this combat over here, his Berserkers put 3, 6, 7 wounds onto my Conclave, but they only waver them. Not that that's going to matter, they might as well be routed for all the good they're going to do me. But, yeah, they're not dead yet. That Berserker unit has not had a good day. His Horde Brick, even though they're soaking wet, have a much better day and do 13 wounds to that particular Conclave. And you know what? I'm fine with that because this is the one that disappointed me the most. They rout, and that's totally understandable. This unit did nothing. My unit did nothing the entire game. I'm really, really discouraged by Conclaves. They overrun like this and end up on top of the objective, which is fine. He's going to win this game regardless. Here's bottom of 6 after movement, and the only thing I got left is a Chieftain and a wavered unit of Conclave. Even if that Conclave unit had been fresh, ready to go, and not wavered, it wouldn't have been able to do anything because it's absolutely useless. My Chieftain countercharges the character, and that's it. I got no other moves. We jump into combat, and because that's all I got left, and I'm able to do 3 wounds, I believe, back to this guy, bringing him up to a total of 7. That's enough to break him, though, and hey, at least I killed 1 dwarven character before the end of the game. And that's it. That's the end of the game. It did not go to turn 7. Everybody just throws in the towel and goes home. Needless to say, this did not go well for me. This was still a really fun game. My opponent played beautifully. I did not, but that's totally okay. He outplayed me, and that's exactly what's supposed to happen. In the end, he had his Steel Behemoth, a couple of characters, his Constructs, and in the bottom there, a big old Horde, and his Berserkers a fail. And I had my beat-up Chieftain and my wavered Conclave, so... Very one-sided battle, but still, this was a ton of fun. We laughed, we had a really good time, and we're going to get to the recap right away because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
In the end, this was a massive defeat for Lord Tremendous. I had 0 objectives, and he had 2. Remember, we were playing the Pillage, I think it was, scenario. Yeah, I'm ashamed. I completely forgot about the objectives and apparently how to play the game. Yeah, granted, this is only my 2nd game with the Varangur. I still feel like I should have done better, and I didn't. And this is exactly what should happen when you play like I did. So, it is what it is. It was still a lot of fun. So, I'm really thinking that Magus Conclaves just aren't for me. They don't work for me. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if I need more, but for 220 points, I can get a much better unit than what I'm using these points for currently. Definitely need to switch the item out on the Chieftain. That hammer has never been used, and there's no point. He's either advancing at the double or just, you know, in combat. Gosh, the Fallen. The Fallen. I don't know if I want to keep using them or not. They're just... I love the models, I love the idea of the unit, I just can't make them work for me the way, like, the Suns, for example, work for me, and stuff like that. So, I don't know, I might have to swap them out for something else. I've been eyeballing the Dire Fang. I'm thinking that I could use those points, plus the points from the Conclave to throw one of those units in, and then some. So, we'll see. And, of course, the Scald. How could we forget about the legendary Scald that held off the Berserker and Dwarves for 3 turns in close combat? Oh my god. That'll never happen again, but how amazing was that little guy? I used my Mounted Sons poorly, I'll be the first one to admit that, and unfortunately they just caught so much shooting at the end, they were just basically useless. They took out a regiment and then got eaten alive. My opponent outplayed me with them. My Foot Soldier Sons did some work, though. I was pleased with them. The Snake Eyes against the Dragon Nerve check killed my momentum, though. That really, really sucked. I was really hoping to do more with the Dragon, but no, I learned a lot. One of the main things I learned is the Steel Behemoth is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. And I need to pay a lot more attention to him if I ever see him on the table again, because, holy crap. The Constructs, too. Oh, God. I paid attention to the wrong units, and it's all part of the learning curve, right? Next time I play against the Dwarves, I'll be smarter. Supposedly. This was a very solid game, though, as you obviously saw, against a very solid opponent. And I'm starting to get a little bit more confidence with my Varangur. Not a ton, but I am starting to learn about, you know, what I like, how to play them, stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully in like a dozen more games, I'll actually be average, and that'll be nice. That'll be a good place to be. But seriously, this was an excellent game. I learned a ton. Couldn't have asked for a better opponent, and I'm definitely looking forward to the rematch. Excellent, excellent game. But that's going to do it. That's it for Battle Report number 17. It's officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to comment in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But as always, guys, thanks.